we'll give a few minutes. There we go. We got the notifications all 3 platforms.
Oh yeah, things you'll
There
love
we
to
go.
see.
Yeah,
It.
we'll get this shared out. Give it a few minutes.
It's weird looking
Oh,
at yourself through the phone.
Oh, you got it pulled up?
Yeah.
All right, we'll give folks just a few minutes to
On
get going
YouTube,
here.
on Twitter at least.
all right, it's up on YouTube.
Yep, I see it
So,
on the X, the Twitter. Somebody check Twitch.
oh my
I'm
God,
kidding. You don't have to check Twitch.
Bet.
I mean,
You know
do
how to check
because
Twitch.
what if we're upside down or something and somebody tunes in for the first time? Like, what is this? It's the Upside Down Podcast. Welcome.
For those sickos who are really, really early getting in here, shout out to you all. Is
Let's
it?
go.
What's the Twitch handle called? Is it State of
Probably
Louisville
just
or?
the state of Louisville. Yeah. The show before the show.
I don't want live chat. Oh my God, I haven't used Twitch in so long.
Oh man, I'm just now seeing that the is this true? That the Saints named Spencer Rattler as their starting quarterback?
Yeah, they did.
It's very true.
Man, I hate the Saints. Bunch of bums. Start Tyler Shock.
Well,
So
I'm sure Quincy will
that's
get the
fine.
nod.
Yeah, that's right. I support their defense, but I do not support. Actually, that's not true. I have Alvin Kamara. Let's go Saints.
Hey,
Let's
shout
go
out
Saints.
Coliseum Chronicles already hopping into the chat already while we're still doing the intro testing. Shout out. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, I can't find us on Twitch. That might be something I just have to dig into.
Oh
another
snap!
time.
We do have a live chat. This is okay. Let's go.
Yeah, I told you we had a live
yeah,
chat.
you do. I missed that. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. It's the show before the show. I'm only halfway paying attention.
All right. Yeah, man. So, while we're letting people get in, did we want to go ahead and hop on Twitter, personal Twitters and account Twitter, and plug everything?
Yes, let's do that real quick for those that are here early. We appreciate it. Got a jam-packed show here. We're gonna try to keep things timely and on track. It's week 1. I get it, but we're gonna be trying to come out fire in mid-season form tonight. But we're gonna give folks some time here. So let's do as Mr. Keith said to do.
I'm being very aggressive on the State of Louisville account.
Totally fine. Do your thing. All right. We are at the 3-minute mark, so we'll do about a minute here, more of kind of killing time, filibustering, and then we will jump into a show. For those of you that are here a little bit early, this is going to be the weekly norm. We'll get into it here in a few minutes, but live shows is a thing now. Heading into 2025, big year, big changes, but same show that hopefully that those two did here early have been listening to now for going on our 4th season. So exciting times here. We got new backgrounds. We got better cameras, better mics. We are set up and built for a fantastic season. So let's go. I can't wait. Everybody good? Everybody got what they need? Drinks? Yeah, Vince's got coffee. No, never mind. That's not coffee. That's a spitter. Never mind. I already did. I was like, no way. But then I'm like, actually, you might.
I mean, I drank that at
coffee.
7:30.
Yeah, I bet you did. Yeah,
So-
yeah. I got a little bit of like in this cup here, like a little bit of like a energy supplement. I think I've talked a little bit about my my decision to stop drinking alcohol, which is definitely one heading into football season that I'm starting to question. But I also stopped drinking energy drinks. So I've been locked in on just like, because I'm just trying to be healthy, man. I'm just trying to be healthy, dude. You know,
no one's gonna judge
Drinks
you.
are healthy.
men's health, man. You know, that's got to take care of the boys, literally. You know,
Caffeine's good for you.
it is.
Don't let the-
It is.
Don't let
But
the
I'm
word
like,
bond deceive you.
yeah. All right, we're at the 4-minute mark. We're about to hit 5, ladies and gentlemen, from the Pink Seats podcast. I am Jacob Lane. This is producer Keith, Vince Lococo, alongside the host of this show here, the first and only Louisville football dedicated podcast in the city of Louisville on the State of Louisville Network. We are excited to have you here for a new season filled with incredible memories and moments, and I'm sure we're going to get into hopefully predicting that tonight on the show. But if you're just tuned in for the first time, we welcome you. We hope that you'll stick around. We have a lot of fun on this show, and we love one thing, and that is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting engaged. And we are here to give you a jam-packed show where we all go around the horn here and give our reactions. But no, we are here to talk Louisville football, coming to you live from the Kearns Corner studio. Shout out to our friends over at Kearns Corner. As you head out to games this year, head home from games, make sure you check them out. The spot to get a burger, a historic spot right there in the Highlands. Be sure to check them out and support them. But boys, we got a great season ahead, and it is exciting times here on from the Pink Seats podcast. Keith, how we doing, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Keith versus the mute button's off to a great start, man. I'm down 1-0
turnover
early.
on the first drive type of deal right there. You come out and you throw
Great
a pick.
start.
Yeah, great start. No, how you doing, man? Your tan has worn off a little bit. You're not as shiny as you've been the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, us half gingers, the tan comes and goes quite quickly. So looking forward to getting out there Saturday, especially now that the temperatures dropped a little bit. I know that we're going to get the death throes of summer, hopefully in like 2.5 weeks when we're on a bye week, so we don't have to go out to a stadium in the middle of that. But weather's shaping up to be great. It's nice and cool. Great. Looking forward to getting outside and enjoying the sunshine Saturday. And getting to watch the Cards, man. It's an exciting time.
Hell yeah. I'm pumped up, man. Vince, how's your stomach? Is it ready to start eating some fried bologna sandwiches?
Oh, I'm ready. It is always ready to go. On
Always
the,
ready.
fried bologna sandwiches. But I mean, we're right around the corner. You wake up in the morning and you smell it. It's just, it's football season. It's finally here. I know you're a basketball guy, but for guys like Keith and I, it's getting to be Christmas morning.
Yeah, man. I mean, we got a little treat this past weekend, week 0. Keith, I think you'll respect this about me. I tried to give the Kansas State Iowa State game a full go. Like
It was so good.
Help me understand what's good about 2-yard carries and punts. I'm trying.
Did you
here.
not
I'm really
watch?
Trying. No, it was an entertaining game. Don't get me wrong, but in reality, if you look at it the way that I do and wanting exciting football, I'm sorry, I just can't get up for punting that many times. Like I just can't. I can't do it.
In the first quarter alone, we had a muffed punt causing a team's leading ball carrier to get injured, which then gave Iowa State the ball on the goal line. A complete whiff on a toss in what looked like an Irish monsoon, which, by the way, was completely jinxed by, I guess it was like some Irish weather service doing their weather forecast for the game. And it's like, oh, nothing but 25 degrees
Blue
Celsius and
skies,
blue
yeah.
skies. And,
Celsius.
and just turns into a fucking monsoon to start the game. So then a toss play that bounces off a running back's face that gets Kansas State the ball back. The human struggle against the elements of futility. This football game was the human experience. You had a lineman reception in the first quarter, the first catch of the game, I'm pretty sure. It had and then that fourth quarter went off the freaking rails, man.
Well, no, the highlight of the game was the quarterback's dad and brother fighting after the game.
I will argue one thing. I had a
Incredible
player prop.
content.
Had a player prop on Rocco Becht over 15.5 rushing yards. And when I tell you the despair and sorrow that overtook my body when they go for the 4th down and they convert, and I think it's touchdown. So I'm like, okay, cool, because Rocco Becht's sitting at 18 yards. And then they rule him down at the 1. And then I see them line up in victory formation to kneel out the game. And I'm like, oh, no, there's 2 minutes
that's
left.
Worst case. Yeah,
I'm losing 3 yards. I'm about to lose this rushing prop by half a yard. But I guess they changed the way the statistic is kept now. Rushing yards don't count against the quarterback anymore. It counts as a team carry on a kneel. So,
the bettors united to the statistical panel of people and said, "Look here, we can't be doing this anymore. No more kneels, no more late second. We can't do that."
Went from an all-time bad beat to an all-time just happy. Then Jacob, I'm disappointed because I don't assume you were this level of sicko. I hopped onto my cell phone and my Mountain West Conference app to watch UNLV take on Idaho State.
Yeah, I did. I'll counter that I did watch Stanford and Hawaii, and that game was just entertaining as all get out, man, because you got a quarterback that's limping. I mean, it's Byron Leftwich from the early 2000s. He's getting carried. You got a Stanford. Stanford is terrible. Like, I mean, I think we knew this. We're getting off the rails here early, but college football is so back that this is what happens when you put the three of us together and just throw out football, and it's just us fighting for who can get the football opinion out there quicker. But we've got a jam-packed show. The reason we're doing this is because we want to get our listeners, our audience, folks that are tuning in, involved in the show. So we would encourage you to do that. You can do so a variety of ways, okay? I'm about to lay out a wolf, if you will, of being able to reach out to us if you're an office watcher, okay? DMs, they are open from the Pink Seats Podcast, State of Louisville. I believe all of us have our DMs potentially open. I guess I should have asked before the show. On Twitter, you can hit us up there. You can comment on the live broadcast or the recording on whatever platform you're watching on. You can go to YouTube and participate in the chat room. We want to hear from you. Get in here. We'll take questions throughout the show. We'll go in the direction of which whatever you all want to talk about as we kind of dive into the specifics week to week with each of Louisville's opponents and break down games. So exciting there. And the big thing, though, okay, this is what I really need you all to focus on before we get into the show, just to get your mind right, okay? We need your help. Last year, if you guys remember, we asked Twitter to help us determine what would the punishment be for the worst prognosticator on the show. Who would get the punishment and what would the punishment be? And if you remember, it was like somebody had to get a shirt with "I'm the worst football predictor." Like, there were some crazy things out there. And ultimately, the combine drills were what our voters chose for you, Keith. And Keith, you're yet to fulfill that. You will soon, not for a lack of try. You will soon.
I was going to say, don't put it all on me.
I'm not. I said not for a lack of effort. We've got some things in the works. But we need the audience's help. We want to know what happens to the loser this year, the worst selector of games. We'll bet against the spread or choose against the spread every week. And whoever finishes with the worst record, of course, has a punishment. So we want your all's help with that tonight here. Get involved with the show. And then the final thing before we dive into football, I promise, the last thing, schedules, calendars, not our strengths. That, I'll own that. So we were going to do the prediction show last week. Guys are like, what? You didn't tell us about that. I want to reemphasize the new schedule here, okay? And this is partially so that we get it in our heads and so that you guys can be informed. But we are switching things up this season. More content, more football, more analysis, more Keith, more Vince. We're getting you everything that you wanted, especially those last two things, right? So this year, we will do 2 shows. They will be both live. We will have our game recap episodes each week following the game and getting comments from coaches. And then we will do our preview show leading into the games either on a Friday or Saturday night. So there will be 2 shows throughout the week, both live. And then at some point throughout our Saturday or Friday as we are tailgating, the plan is to bring you some form of live content. We're trying to figure out the logistics because if you know, being out at Cardinal Stadium, internet can be spotty. So bear with us. We're trying to nail that down. But each week, the goal is to give you something from on site just to get you as you're preparing for games in the mood. And then, of course, you can kind of tune in throughout the rest of the week for ancillary content. There's a lot.
Everybody else, they can help us out there too by just everybody make sure you turn your Wi-Fi off going, to the stadium so that we can.
That's right.
Jacob,
exactly.
You scared me a bit, Jacob. You said there was a bear with us, and I didn't know if it was in my room, if it was in your room, what the deal was. So, spooked me.
Man, you don't have kids, and you're spitting out jokes like that, man. I'm proud of you. That is a
that I know
joke
of.
It's fine. That you know of, right? Well, hey, that'll wrap up kind of the opening remarks, if you will. Let's get into what you came here for, and that is some freaking Louisville football. Louisville plays a game this weekend against Eastern Kentucky. We're going to dive into the specifics of Eastern Kentucky and what you can expect. But for now, we got to kind of put everything out on the table here, guys, in terms of predictions and being prepared with what we think is going to happen this year. And so we've been waiting to do this as we lead into the year so that we have all the facts, all the information, so that we can make very well thought out predictions, even though we all know we're not even sure Vince looked at this sheet. Let's just be honest here.
It's just like fantasy football, Jacob. You want to do it right before the season starts, just to ensure everything.
And you want to wing it.
But I did look at the show sheet, so I saw your nice little note that you had left at the bottom of the sheet for us.
Hold on, I have something for you.
Oh wow, yeah.
Congrats, man. Congrats. That is upgraded here. Get some sound effects.
God,
That
we
is
are
the
fucking
crowd clapping for you.
Family Feud or something.
We're excited to have you all here. And this past weekend, we put out on Twitter some polls to kind of get a feeling for how you all are thinking about this team and how folks are, kind of expecting things to play out. And so we've got quite a bit of things to run through tonight. We're going to, of course, dive into what you all thought with some of the answers to these, and then provide our specifics and what we think, of course, from a breakdown standpoint. And then once we get there, guys, it's time to predict the season, what we think record-wise, what we think Sack King-wise. I mean, you guys know that's the big thing that people are really here for, right? The hundreds of viewers at this point are all here wanting to know who's going to be the Sack King. But we'll get into all that and then dive into EKU. But let's just jump into things here right from the top, okay? We're going to just run through these. We've got about, 7 or 8 categories here that we have prepared to predict. And, of course, we're going to want to hear from you all, so we'll stop periodically. And, guys, I'm not a little bit peek behind the curtains here. I've got 4 things pulled up here, so I can't see the comments at all time. You guys stop me. We'll check those comments, and we'll get you all involved in the show here. But let's just jump right in. And this one, It's going to get us going, some momentum here, because I think we're all going to agree. And I know. I didn't even poll the audience on this because I think everyone would be like, dude, why are you even putting this out here? But first question, who's going to lead the team in rushing? I put in the notes unanimous. Are we all unanimous here? I would think the answer to that question is yes.
That's the only one that none of the other 2 people you do the show with commented on. So I would definitely say Isaac Brown is going to be the unanimous decision.
That's right. That's right. And didn't even put it out on Twitter because, again, I feel like that would be more of an indictment potential. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I would love to hear if you think otherwise. But you do have multiple running backs, right? And, of course, you could say, so if he has to miss games, in an ideal world, we're not preparing for guys to be out for 3 weeks with X, Y, and Z, right? So there are chances where Duke Watson, Kewan Brown, somebody could lead the team in rushing, right? Like they could.
Allow me to play devil's advocate then, maybe just for Duke Watson. It's not completely unrealistic to potentially see a world where, rather than what I think we all think is where Isaac's going to see probably a decent majority share of the carries. Maybe it is a little bit closer to like a 40-40-20 split between Isaac, Duke, and then Kewan. And, I mean, we saw it last year when Watson was able to get on the field. It was usually against fatigued defenses, or it was a change-up look, and he was able to break massive plays out more times than not. It's why he led the country in yards per carry. So that is one of the arguments you could make for Duke Watson. So maybe it's not quite as clean and dry as we think it is. But, yeah, as a podcast, I'm pretty sure we're all on Isaac Brown.
It's pretty clean and dry. It's about as dry as you can. I think it's about as dry as you can make it. It's about as dry as some chicken Jacob would be cooking up in the oven right now.
Oh, that's not fair. Don't Rick Bozich me. How dare you? How dare you? You know better than that. You know that I'm a damn good cook. Now I might be questionable on where I cook things, grill, air fryer, all that, but it's damn well seasoned, and I'm going to prove that right after this show, Vince. I'm going to go cook up some damn good pork chops, and I will send you a picture. Do it. Okay?
I was terrified of where that metaphor was going to go, Vince, so I appreciate you.
Fair. We are live. I mean, you got to watch it.
Yeah, we're learning on the fly, right? Okay. It looks like here, just looking through some of the comments, folks are in agreement that it's going to be Isaac Brown, and I think the thing there is, we've talked about this a lot through the offseason, is how good will he be this season? Like, what is the next step in his game? What is the next step? It may not be statistically. Like, I'm not saying that he's going to jump to 1,700 yards, 2,000 yards. But what does it look like? And this is a question for you all. And I think maybe we've answered this, but just for the audience tuning in, what does it look like for Isaac Brown to have a better year in 2025 than the breakout season as a true freshman that he had in 2024?
I think it's definitely showing that you can do more than just be in the backfield, not just catching the football, but being able to line up as an outside wide receiver, motion yourself in, back into the backfield, still know what you're doing, being able to motion across field, things like that. And know what you're doing still, being able to run a route when we do have pass plays and be an actual passing threat. Those are things he can improve upon. Pass blocking, I'm sure, is something he can improve upon. Not all freshmen necessarily understand how blitzes are going to be coming at you. So, I mean, just a couple things, just things you want to clean up.
Yeah, I mean, just a better understanding of the offense as a whole. Like, I mean, we heard a comment straight from him during the offseason where when asked about what it was like playing as a true freshman, he made comments like, man, I was just out there running. Now I actually kind of know what I'm doing a little bit. And he understands like how we're trying to manipulate the defense and where he's supposed to move and cut. So an increased knowledge and just more chances to touch the ball. And that's the easy way to do it. I was so tempted to like put on the glasses and spit out my protractor or my retainer. Actually, 1,174 yards.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The last thing I'll say on Isaac Brown, you mentioned this, and it kind of goes into how he improves. I have mentioned far too many times on this show and in text messages what I'm about to say, to the fact that it has been screenshotted where you can search for it in text messages and sent to me, that I have said it multiple occasions, and that is Isaac Brown was third on the team in receptions last year. I mean, that's a big deal as a freshman. It's the one thing we don't talk about enough. It is a byproduct of Tyler Shuck being a guy that played very smart and would dump the ball down when he was in trouble, and I think that we expect Miller Moss to be a very similar type of player. And so if you have Isaac Brown being a better route runner, being able to play multiple spots, I mean, imagine that if you put him and Watson on the field at the same time. I mean, the things that you could do there with a defense and keeping them on their toes. Let's move on right along here. And then to our first poll of the night, we asked who will lead the team in receiving. And the options for that were Colin Lacey, Chris Bell. The third receiver was really a crapshoot. I didn't really know, as the one kind of building these, really, it's kind of a matter of preference. I went to Kari Collins, but you could have gone Trayshawn Hurry. You could have gone Antonio Meeks. You could have gone Chris Hughes. There's a lot of ways that you could have gone with this one. I had Kari Collins, and then, of course, we gave folks the option for other. And Twitter, 56% says Colin Lacey. So, Keith, I'll come to you. Colin Lacey, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that was who I agreed with as well. I think Colin Lacey, at least statistically, ends up being the one who gets the lion's share of receptions just because he's a versatile guy. So he's going to be out on the field. He can line up out wide as a X or a Z. You can put him in at the slot. You can motion him into the backfield in certain packages, and you can really create a lot of different looks and opportunities. And his skill set lends him to being a quarterback's best friend, especially one who likes to make the smart play and doesn't necessarily try to push downfield every down. He's going to be an underneath guy, but he's like a 7-Eleven, baby. He's always open.
Yeah, Vince, what do you
I'm going
think?
Chris
Who's
Bell.
your prediction?
I'm going Chris Bell as my prediction. I think he's going to be the go-to guy for Miller. I think obviously the home run balls are likely going to go to Colin Lacey, but his intermediate, who he's going to feel confident, getting the ball to every single down, I think will end up being Chris Bell. The kid's put on a lot of good size. I mean, he's your prototypical, if you had to create a college football wide receiver on a video game, that's what you would create. And, you have to see something big from him this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm going to go with Chris Bell. I think he's going to carry that momentum from last year. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but he finished the season last year with 737 yards receiving. And in the final final 4 games of the season, went for 112, 101, 84, and 60. So you see the trend there of really being kind of blossoming late. And I think that with Lacey being the kind of receiver that you mentioned, Keith, in terms of, you can play him outside, but he really does more as a possession guy, as a route runner. I think that it gives you the opportunity to really push the ball downfield to Chris Bell. And I expect him to kind of seamlessly step into the role that Ja'Cory Brooks played last year, different receivers, of course, but to step into that role and to potentially even be better. Now it might look different, but I think overall it's going to be a big year for Chris Bell. Keith, what do you got?
I was going to say, I don't know. Colin Lacey, his last full season he played was over 1,300 yards. So
That's right. That's right.
Could
That's
put
right.
up a big year. And Tanner in the chat mentioned that I wanted Isaac to be like Rondale Moore, but in all reality, Colin Lacey could end up being your,
Yeah.
Rondale
Moore,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was gonna say prototype, but that's stupid, and we're live. So.
Also,
Gotta watch the
one
predictions can't be edited out now.
also, this is gonna little peek behind the curtain of what comes later in the show. But I love how you listed like 6 or 7 different pass catchers, and you didn't mention the one that Jeff Brom explicitly mentioned when talking about the wide receiver 3 position last week, which was Trayshawn Hurry.
Yeah, I think I said his name, but yeah, I mean, he wasn't one of the options on here, and you're right.
Yeah.
Of course, Jeff Brom comes out and he's like, "Oh, Jacob doesn't know what he's talking about. It's Trayshawn Hurry, actually." Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. With the receiving being the theme here, and let's talk about the tight end room. You guys know that I have been just pleading for this group to become more of what we saw from Jeff Brom offenses at Purdue, right? We saw multiple guys go to the NFL. We saw guys that were 500, 600-yard receivers and were big-time offensive threats. And while Louisville's tight ends have been very serviceable over the last couple of years, Mark Redman, you go back to Joey Gatewood. There's been, of course, I'm blanking on names now, trying to pull these from a hat, but there's been a number of guys that have transferred in and have played or stepped into roles and have played well, right? But nobody's really become the guy. And so the question for this one is, which tight end will lead the room in receiving yards? So we asked Twitter, gave them the options of Jaleel Skinner, Nate Kariski, and Jacob Stewart, which by all accounts seem like the big three. And 57% Jaleel Skinner. I was honestly a little bit surprised by this because
this was the toughest
Nate
one
Kariski
for me.
Go
This
ahead.
was the toughest one. I spent the longest time looking at this question for sure whenever it was on Twitter and whenever we were reviewing stuff for the show notes. I went with Skinner strictly because of the athleticism. I hope that he is in his playbook. I'm sure that he's been in his playbook. And just, man, I've talked about it for so long on this show. And this Jeff Brom offense, having an athletic tight end is going to unlock so much more for Miller Moss and Jeff and Brian calling the offense. It's something we need it desperately.
Yeah.
And one thing I will add on to that, because I also am leaning with the crowd here with Jaleel Skinner, which is kind of surprising because I had concerns about his size coming into camp last year and coming into camp this year. But his frame allows him that really unique versatility that you don't see out of a lot of tight ends. So he's someone who he can line up as a tight end. He's able to be an actual weapon. If you line him up out at the slot, if you wanted, you could line him up at the X or Z out wide as well if you really wanted to see if they were really wanting to match a linebacker up with him to clear out the box. And it's just going to create opportunities to get him.
That'll be so interesting, Keith, is seeing what a defense does whenever he's split out wide at an X position. Just because if they do walk a linebacker out and bring somebody into the box, Miller Moss is going to bring a corner into the box now to match that receiver that is now tighter to the box. I mean, Miller's going to have full authority to check the play to a run play, and we're going to gash them for a run play. And if they God forbid, leave a corner out there, surely we can, use the bigger body of Skinner, the big guy, as our former coach likes to say. Surely we can use the big guy and get a play.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Rodney Johnsons don't grow on trees, so it'd be tough to match up with a safety or a corner just because of the size of them. But, and this will sort of pan to you, Jacob, it does feel a little bit dirty, and we see in the chat someone with a great comparison. Nate Kariski's just been all reliable the last couple of years. He's just always there, man.
Right, exactly. He's always there. I'm trying to think of the equivalent from my beer drinking. I think for me it's like Blue Moon. I'll go and explore other drinks and have other beers, but at the end of the day, I come back to what works and what gets the job done. And you're exactly right. That is Nate Kariski, and that is my prediction to lead this group. I think when you go back and you look at his body of work and how they've used him, it's mostly been in goal line and short yardage situations. But when he has gotten out and when he has made big plays, you see there is athleticism there. There is a guy who can be a route runner, who can be a mismatch. And when I look at how Jeff Brom and company recruited this offseason, they were aggressive with the tight end spot, right? They started out with Ryan Clare and what was he at? Purdue, went to Texas, right? Or Ohio State was really an open recruitment there for a while. He was visiting, then he wasn't visiting. Louisville was involved, or at least reached out to Deuce Robinson before he went to Florida State. Louisville was involved with Holden Stiles from Tennessee. That went to, I believe, Indiana. So Louisville was involved with several notable tight ends and ultimately didn't walk away with one. And maybe that was because they missed on all of them. I think it was because they weren't willing to prioritize dollars at that position because they felt comfortable with what they had. And Nate Kariski is what they had. And I think that they knew at the end of the day, they could go out and they could pay somebody $2 million, $1 million, right? But when push comes to shove, are they really going to, in the role that they're going to put him in, be that much better than somebody like a Nate Kariski? I don't know. I think it's a crapshoot. Maybe they're the leading receiver for Louisville, but we've seen how they've used tight end the last 2 seasons. Look, Jamari Johnson, great example, gone, right? Went to Oregon, right? So I think this position group is going to be led by what's comfortable, what is known, and that Nate Kariski is going to be the guy that comes out of this group. But Julius Skinner, man, I'm telling you, at some point this year, he's going to make a play where we're all like, that's the guy. That's him. Like, holy shit, that's incredible. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. So it looks pretty much like the audience is the same thing here with Julius Skinner and Nate Kariski. But Jacob Stewart, right? If you play college football 26, if you didn't know who that guy was before, you're like, holy crap, this dude's going to win the Heisman. Like, this is the best tight end in America. But with a guy like Stewart, you have some of the same intangibles as Nate Kariski. He's a good blocker, can be a pass catcher, can be dangerous, coming from a lower level. We'll see. Keith, what are your thoughts on Jacob Stewart before we move on?
Yeah, I mean, he's like a Nate Kariski. I believe Kariski is in his last year of eligibility, if I remember correct, or he might have another year left.
1 or 2, yeah.
But Stewart, also another guy who I believe has 2 years of eligibility left. So it seems like we, at least judging by how aggressive we were when it came to acquiring tight ends, because we even added a couple more that one ended up not making it to campus. We had Grant Hauser and Dylan Messman both get injured in the spring. They're starting to bounce back, or pardon me, Messman's at least starting to bounce back, and he looked good in training camp as well.
Right.
It looks like we're starting to at least have a full tight end room as opposed to, okay, we got 2 guys, and if they get broken, we're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. And I mean, Louisville's had guys like they've brought in utility players, gadget players, and they ultimately just never really played them. And I think that's, again, when you talk about what the tight end room is for Louisville, I think for right now, it's just a room that is serviceable. That's what they've been for 2 years, and I think that's what they'll be again this year. But Nate Kariski can still be really exceptional in that role. And that looks like being a red zone threat, being able to make a play, break a big play, that type of thing. Let's move to the other side of the ball. Let's talk defense, because we can talk offense. I mean, you think Miller Moss is going to be the leading passer, going to lead the team in touchdowns.
Hold on for the algorithm. Miller Moss.
There we go. I would be curious. We'd have to go back and pull the notes up, but for the audience, like the more or less that we did a couple of weeks ago, I think his number was 18 touchdowns throwing last year at USC. More or less would be something that we could definitely get the audience's thoughts on. But let's talk about the defense. I do want to speed through these somewhat quickly because I want to make sure we're saving time for Eastern Kentucky and talking about the football that we're going to see on the field on Saturday. But the next one was who will lead the team in tackles. It's been TJ Quinn the last 2 years. The options for the Twitter poll that we put out last week were Stanquan Clark, TJ Quinn, Antonio Watts, and other. The audience really focusing in on the 2 you'd expect, Stanquan Clark and TJ Quinn, with 48% being Stanquan Clark. Vince, what do you think on this one? Stanquan Clark or TJ Quinn?
I went with Stanquan Clark. See, I was going to get there with someone else as well. I think Stanquan Clark is going to be the guy and finally take the reins as I wouldn't say leader because TJ Quinn's still going to be there. He's still going to be very much the leader, captain of the defense. But Stanquan's going to be the guy flying around making plays all over the field. I expect him to utilize that speed that he has. I wanted to see him dip and rip. He might not be so much of a guy that we see taking blocks on straight head on. Expect him to use that dip, that rip. Not saying he can't. Just looking at his body size and his body type and how fast he is. But I want to see TJ Capers and wouldn't be surprised if he winds up somewhere in that top 5 range. I'm going to go with that, basically.
Interesting.
As an other, just throw that in there.
Yeah, I like that. And Keith, before I come to you, one thing to note, last year, pretty close race. I mean, at the top of it for Louisville was TJ Quinn with 82 tackles. And then 76 for Stanquan. So they were a lot closer than I think I realized that they were. And then it was a dip into the 50s from there. Keith, what do you think? I mean, is it one of those two guys? Do you think there's somebody else? I know you've been really high on a couple of the other linebackers.
So I actually think it's going to be, and you can call him a linebacker, you can call him a safety, call him whatever you like. He's a playmaker. Antonio Watts is a dude who's really impressed me watching training camp, watching spring ball, seeing how he's able to move out the field. And I think he has the potential to lead the team in tackles just because of schematic issues that our interior defensive line can cause. Because we saw it last year. Our interior D line forced a lot of teams to be one-dimensional and forced them to either work on quick passing games or trying to stretch run outside. Where do we normally have Antonio Watts lined up wide side of the field, ready and in position to come flying off an edge and make a play when called upon? So I could see a sort of tendency eventually develop, again, especially against some of the like mid-pack ACC programs where you don't have those big road grader offensive linemen who can really try to generate a push. So you have to try and get the ball outside, or you have to try and use the quick passing game. And that's where Watts is just going to eat up all the tackles. So I think that we're going to run into that a lot this year, and that's why I think Watts is going to have plenty of opportunities to get in and make plays.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. And Watts, I remember last year leading into the season, somebody close to the Louisville football program was like, yo, I think, everyone's really got Ben Perry penciled in as the starter at that position. But, Antonio Watts has been the guy. And I think even still, the two of them split time last year. If you look at the statistics, Watts had 50 tackles, and I think Perry was somewhere in the 30s or 20s. And so with Watts taking a lot of that time and playing probably the majority of the snaps at that position, I think there will be more opportunity. But when I look at how the last 2 years have gone and the snap count and how this defense has struggled with a couple of things, communication, with discipline and being consistent, I think the one thing that they can count on for the most part. Now, there's certainly some film that we can toss on that doesn't look so good, but TJ Quinn has been that guy. And even when he has terrible games, he still leads the team in tackles majority of the time. He is always what we fell in love with about that guy 3 years ago was the way that you look up and 34 is at the ball, no matter where on the field that it is. Yep. And I think that going into his last season, just based off of what we've seen, I'm not discounting his ability to potentially go on. This is likely one of the last bits of football time he has left in the career. And so I think TJ will be a guy that they really will count on. And he's my prediction to lead the team in tackles, but I think it'll be close. And I'm going to switch things up on you guys for this next one, which was who would lead the team in interceptions. We put out the poll last week with mostly guys in the secondary. So Tayon Holloway, Rodney Johnson, Corey Gordon. And then we asked for other options if didn't think of any of those or didn't think that those were it. And Tayon Holloway led in a close battle with Rodney Johnson, 42% and 40%. But I'm going to start with this one. And this one, as I was thinking about this and thinking about Louisville's corners and just thinking about how this team plays, started to think that maybe the leader in interceptions won't come from the secondary. And then I looked at the numbers and was actually a little bit surprised that the guy that I picked tied for the lead in interceptions last season. How about that? I know they both came in the same game, but Stanquan Clark is the prediction for me. And I think that These corners are going to play. We've talked about how they'll be a little bit more opportunistic potentially because of the strength of the defensive line and the pass rush, or so we think. But I think that the way that Louisville can play TJ Quinn up on the line and then really benefit from Sanquon being not always great, but he showed, man, you drop him back in coverage in the zone and he might make a play on you if you try to test
It's
him.
the
I think
athleticism. He's that linebacker on the college football game, the user one that drops back, that you can't throw the slant or the tight end over or anything like that now. Yeah.
That's what I'm going with Stanquan. I know it's a little bit outside of the box, but I think like 3 or 4 could be the number. And I don't think that's crazy. He had 2 last year, both of them, I believe, in the Pittsburgh game, if I'm not mistaken. And so why not? Stanquan Clark's my choice. What do you guys think? I'm assuming, probably leaning more with the audience on this one. This one will be one.
I went with the audience. I went Holloway for sure. I like where you're going though, man. I mean, hey,
watch that cornerback have like 15
I'm not gonna
picks.
say it's a take and act like it's crazy whenever you have stats like that to prove it. You know.
Yeah.
So I can't sit over here and say you're crazy. I'm going Holloway though. I want to see this kid. He's got great size, great ability. It's just corner is a lot of how much can you disguise, where are your eyes, because I mean that's a lot of the stuff quarterbacks are looking at. They're looking at where your eyes are pre-snap. They're looking obviously where you're going post-snap. If you can disguise some stuff, be creative, and that all comes with knowing the defense. If you are in your playbook and you have to be in your playbook and as detailed as possible playing corner position, because it is very obvious whenever you have a bust. And we can easily point that out at any point. There were multiple games last year where we saw miscommunication from the back end and pop. But, you know, I'll take Holloway right now.
Okay. So to lead into my pick, if you're an opposing offensive coordinator game planning to try and get us like, oh, God, Louisville – really good run defense. They seem to like having 6, occasionally 7 guys in the box to make sure we shut down a run game. They have a whole brand new secondary. What's the first thing you're going to think of to try and beat us? Take shots. Get down deep. Get some guys open. Now, if you look at the quarterbacks we're going to be playing against this year, I know I'm very high on a lot of ACC quarterbacks, but a lot of guys don't exactly have NFL caliber deep balls. So I say all that to say I was torn on my selection, but not between the corners, but between D'Angelo Hutchinson or JoJo Evans, the 2 projected starting safeties. I gave the nod to Hutch just because he's the incumbent, and also he's the one who's looked more impressive in coverage during training camp to me personally. But I think his safety ends up being the leading interceptor on the squad strictly because of how our cornerbacks are able to push routes either inside or push them into the help going up to the second level. And teams are, at least to start the year for sure, going to be aggressive and try to take shots on us. And you know safeties just love to see that ball fluttering in the air coming downfield because it's their time to shine. So go up and get them, young fellas. Make me look smart.
As much as I love those types of safeties, Keith, I also love the ones from the Florida documentary or the Brian Dawkins, the ones
Darren
that are all
Sharper.
About, I'm good. Yeah, Darren Sharper. I'm going to take his soul.
It's I saw the ball, breed, man.
I saw the ball, and then I saw the man, and I was like, "Oh yeah." So like that's what I want out of my safeties. I could definitely see them leading the team in interception though, because the ball is going to be put out there a lot.
Yeah. And, I mean, when you put Hutchinson out on the field last year with Watts, those 2 are just electric, man. Like, they are all over the place. They've certainly got to clean it up. But I like the pick of Hutch. I think he could be a sneaky, like, MVP-type player for Louisville's defense. Okay, guys. The time has come. We are here. It is time to predict who will lead the team in sacks. The most important statistic to me outside of the number of slants run in a game. In 2025. And if you've been following this show, you know that we each year give out the most prestigious award in sports, and that is the Sack King Award. And the last 2 years, Ashton, our first repeat winner, is certainly been fantastic, and it's going to be tough to beat.
Don't you still owe him a steak dinner?
I don't know. Some say. I don't know if I ever promised him a steak dinner to begin with, but some say. Some are saying.
I think he owes us a steak dinner after
Yeah.
his signing bonus. No, I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Ashton, if you're listening, man, we would love to take you to a steak dinner, or you take us to a steak dinner. We're not going to complain either way. And before that, you had Yasir Abdullah. And so this year, they're looking to build off of that, going into year 4 of the award. It's a very lively group, and we've got a very open competition. We asked Twitter who would be the leader in sacks this year. We gave the options of Clev Lubin, AJ Green, Wes Bailey. If you saw the video that we put out this week, you as well know that we threw into the mix there Antonio Watts as well as Rene Conga. So those are the guys that we kind of identified, or at least I identified. And the audience mostly went with Clev Lubin here, which I think is the pick that most folks would have. And so, Vince, you and I are both on the Clev Lubin train. To me, I think he's the most.
I copped out. That was an easy pick.
Me too, man.
I feel like that's just an
easy
easy hit your free throw here. Clev's the easy pick, but man, I wanted to pick AJ Green so bad. It was just right there for me.
Dude, if AJ Green is the sack leader on this team, I think that defense is going to be something special. Like that's, and not saying that they wouldn't be in the other case, but for me, Clev Lubin last year,
the stuff that his size, the ability for him to get around an end, and what he can, disrupting a quarterback from that blind side, and being able to strip. I just see an AJ Green strip sack this year. But go ahead and go on the.
Let's do it. That would be very much comparable to the player that I mentioned last week, Aldon Smith, who he is built very similar to, was the king of the sack strip. I mean, was constantly in the backfield forcing fumbles, and that's a game changer for a defense. But Lubin, 9.5 sacks last year. I get it, Coastal Carolina, but it's the way that he plays, the style of pass rush. It's not just I'm gonna bull rush you. It is a very skillful pass rush with. It's kind of like a post player. He's got moves. Like dude's got a couple of different moves in the tool belt. Now, will that translate? We'll see. That's the question with him. But I do think that a guy going from his sophomore to junior season, still a lot of room to grow. Put him in a defense with the most talent that he's ever been around, and I do think that he can become a guy that commands a double team and is the guy for this pass rush. Go ahead, Keith.
Yeah, he's an analytical darling. Like, there's a reason Pro Football Focus, I think, graded him as the best pass rusher of 2024. And that is exactly something that's going to jump out on scouting reports. So the reason I didn't pick Clev was because I think he's going to run into a lot of those issues of either getting a guard and a tackle on him, or getting chipped by a tight end, or having a running back step in and for a max protect to help.
Especially
with a
if
tackle
he pops off early against EKU and JMU. Just saying, like if he pops off against EKU and JMU, the teams that we expect to blow out, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, but you know what teams have a hard time blocking? A physical mutant. And that's what Wes Bailey is. I can't say it enough. Until you see him in person, you don't actually get it. This dude makes Division I Power 4 conference defensive linemen look like average human beings. He is not normal. And if teams are so bold as to send a double team to the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, oh my God, this dude's going to have a field day. So I'm leaning Wes Bailey just because I think he's going to get more one-on-one opportunities, at least early in the year for sure, because of the other side of the line being the analytical darlings. And this dude is not normal. Like, I know we played against his kid last year, or his nephew last year. This guy's a genetic freak like Scott Steiner. He's not normal.
That's an incredible reference, by the way. But I do think that there's a lot of opportunity there, and those two guys are going to be the primary pass rushers. But when you rotate in an AJ Green, when you rotate in a Micah Carter, when you rotate in some of the other pieces that Louisville has in the cupboard, I think it's a. If you told me at the end of the year that it's AJ Green, wouldn't be surprised. If you told me at the end of the year that it's Jordan Grad that we don't even have on the list here, wouldn't be surprised. So it can go a variety of ways, and I'm really excited for this one. I'm going to quickly. Yeah, exactly right. Like that's
the big day for me this year. Just get home. I don't really care who leads. Just get home.
Yeah. let's jump into this one. I'm going to try to fly through this one a little bit. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time. I would encourage you all to go back and if you're just checking us out for the first time, looking for more football content, go back a couple of weeks to when we did the episode previewing the schedule. We talk about what we thought would be Louisville's first loss of the season, but I'm going to just reference the Twitter poll. We gave the options of Miami, Clemson, Virginia Tech, and other schools. This one was 34% Miami, which would mean that Louisville takes a loss earlier in the season, with Clemson being right behind it, which that would mean to me that 27% of the voters think that Louisville is going to go undefeated for quite some time, which is a very big, I don't want to say a take, but that we've talked about on the show how that would just be insane. That Friday night game against Clemson would be equivalent of the 2005 blackout game. Like that would be potentially all-time vibes at Cardinal Stadium. But Miami is the consensus there, and it's a big test early. I mean, I think that it's pretty easy to say, I don't really know. They lost last year, maybe, I don't personally think that, but that's the way it is. Go back and catch that episode. Let's give them chances to run the numbers up for us, guys.
If you're subscribed to the State of Louisville YouTube channel, like I am back here,
watch the video,
really
refresh
easy
it
to go back
50 times.
You'll see
Yes.
Miami was my most confident game that we have to win. So
Yeah, there we go.
Who knows? We give some
How
hot
about
takes
that?
around here.
That's right. All right, Louisville finish in the ACC. That sets us up as we get into the records and predictions for Louisville's season. The options here: first, second, third, and other. Second place, 51% of the vote on Twitter. 29% goes to first place, which was second there. I'll jump in here. I think that Louisville is going to be really good this season. I think the margins of being great and really good are very thin. And while I think that Louisville has a fantastic football coach, what the biggest knock on that football coach has been is the ability to slip up in a season. And slipping up doesn't have to be losing to Boston College. It can be losing to teams that are in your way when you have the opportunity to do something really big. And until it happens, I don't know if Louisville will get over that jump. So I think Louisville is going to finish third in the ACC. I'll give you the record prediction in a minute. But I do think the ACC is really freaking good at the top. Really freaking good.
I went with you too. I agreed with you. Third in the ACC. I also agree with you that it's going to be behind SMU and Clemson.
So maybe I'll sway you all with why I said what I said, but initially I think I had it put down for tied for third, but looking at some other teams' schedules, I don't necessarily know that if my record.
See, that's what swayed me to go. That's what swayed me to go. That's what swayed me to go third, Keith. So I want to hear how you can sway me to go another way.
Some teams have conference schedules that are significantly more favorable than ours and could lead to opportunities where we have multiple teams with potentially 0, maybe 1 conference loss without giving away the ghost for the next portion. So I sort of have us tied for, I guess it would be 4th or 5th, depending on how certain league results shake out. And allow me to now transition into the next part. Well, first off, Twitter poll. We had first, second, third, or other, and overwhelmingly, a lot of people kind of surprised me. I thought we were going to get a lot of homer votes saying we were winning the league. Said second with 51% of the vote. So I think a lot of people give me a chance and let me talk through my case in this next portion, and this may sort of explain where my take is. For Louisville's final record, I was torn because I think Vegas set a fantastic line, but I want to go a step beyond that. I think maybe this is the year we finally get over a hump with a couple of teams. I have us down for 10-2. The unfortunate part of that is I have those 2 regular season losses being in conference. And now why I think 2 conference losses knocks you down past third place is because you have teams like Georgia Tech, like Duke, who have very, very friendly conference schedules. And I have a separate hot take that the winner of the Georgia Tech-Duke matchup this season ends up making their way to the ACC championship game because of how easy.
SMU has a very favorable. I looked at their
Vince,
schedule.
do you not want to choke this? Did you hear what he just said? that Duke
What?
might be in the ACC championship? Are you going to allow that in our first live show?
No, that's just dumb. I mean, that's dumb and
There's a
ignorant.
reason he's
but
running combine drills out here, man. I mean, I guess I should have
Yeah,
known.
I
you
mean,
know?
like-
Oh,
we gotta
okay.
have no, I'm kidding. But in all honesty, that's the
Fact support
ACC.
it.
It's better. And as much as we don't want to say it, college football 26th game, to go back to that, they love Duke. I mean, Duke's in the college football playoff every single damn season for some reason. Now, I don't necessarily know how they'll be that good, but if you told me that Dorian Mensah and that team figures it out, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think that the second, third place is, of course, I think Louisville fans are just trying to figure out, is Louisville better than SMU? I think that's the question. Is Louisville better than SMU?
See,
And-
I think we could be better than we might be a better football team than SMU, but playing on the road at SMU,
Right.
I think is going to play a factor in this football
yeah.
game, which is why I have us at 10-2.
Yeah, and I think that is exactly what I just kind of talked about before. And again, slipping up, the big game, the loss every year has been against teams that you don't obviously want to lose to. Pittsburgh that year, and then of course you lose to Stanford last year. This year, I don't know if Louisville has that big slip-up loss. I do have them losing to Virginia Tech. I think that the more and more I go back and forth on that one, I think that matchup, just where it sits, is scary. But I ultimately have Louisville losing to SMU on the road. And so with that, I have them. I'm the least optimistic out of the three of us. What the hell, guys? I have Louisville at 9-3. I mean, I thought last year I came in hot, like way over the top. I think I went 10-2 last year. This year I tried to scale it back a little bit. 9-3, just this team just doesn't strike me as being I'm sorry, I don't know if they're a college football team yet, like college football playoff.
It's a lot riding on Miller Moss.
Yeah,
in my
it
opinion.
is.
It's a lot riding on Miller Moss and the defense, obviously, that as well.
Yeah.
But,
So,
I mean,
Jake,
if Miller comes out and just is all over the place, then I mean, we're going to be looking at Deuce. How quickly are we going to be talking Deuce Adams? And it's like, I just don't know. I mean, I'm going 10-2 based off of, I think we're going to lose to SMU and we're going to lose to Clemson. I think those are going to be the two that we drop. I know everybody, I'm hyped about the Friday nighter against Clemson as well, but
Yep.
that fucking team is good this year.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
a good football team.
No, I'll give the folks commenting. You're right. It could be scare prediction. Maybe it is, but at this point, the data kind of sits on my side of things, and the data changes.
I will say, I'm not overly worried. I think we beat SMU. SMU lost a lot in the trenches this offseason, and they lost Braylon Smith. And that dude was a problem.
Yeah,
They still have
yeah.
Kevin Jennings. They still have RJ Maryland. Those are their own issues, but they
Maryland's a
aren't
problem.
as dynamic as they were. Again, Clemson, really, really, really freaking good team. I know it's going to make Mike Rutherford cringe hearing this. I think they're national championship good. I think we got a puncher's chance when we play them, but a puncher's chance isn't enough to make me pick them. And then when someone shows you who you are, you believe them. So I still think we're going to have that Jeff Brum what the hell game, and Cal falling where it does right before the Clemson matchup. I know West Coast football, and I'm talking good about Duke, Vince. I'm driving you nuts.
Yeah,
Those
It's
are
the fact that we lose to Cal at home. That I might run stadiums immediately after the game. If we lose to Cal at home, you'll just see me running up and down the stadium steps to get the loss off my mind.
It's just one of those, like, hey, no one would have predicted Stanford last year. And that's
Right.
one where that could be just like, what the hell
But I feel like
happened?
we could at least look at Stanford last year and be like, all right, on the road, we're
On the
traveling
road,
to
what? Yeah,
West
sleepy
Coast,
West Coast.
blah,
Stanford sucks. Yeah, Cal sucks.
blah.
I mean,
I'm
Cal
going
doesn't
to be
suck,
I'm
but-
going to be in a miserable headspace if what Keith is talking about happens.
Yeah,
Which
okay,
is
so
wild to say with a 10-2 record.
right? Exactly, but it's the premise.
You know why I'll be sitting there miserable at that point, because it'd be 10-2.
Dude,
with a
what
loss
if
to
I'll give you the
fucking Cal.
worst case scenario? Louisville goes undefeated in conference, but loses to one team, and that's Cal. Other teams have bad years. Louisville makes it into the ACC Conference Championship. They play against Duke and then lose to Duke in the championship.
And
I mean,
Darian
Vince would
Mensah
quit
just
football.
blows
Not
up.
even a world that happens. Like all
Vince
the
would quit
alternate
football.
universes we like to talk about, like how
the upside
things
down
happen.
world.
That's not even one that exists.
All right, let me say something that is going to happen. They're going to go 12-0. I mean, let me just counterbalance crazy thoughts with the other side of it. 12-0, national championship. We're doing all of it.
16-0.
16-0.
Running
We're holding the title up.
You're
at
getting
the end
Jeff's
of it.
Honda on your ass because we're hosting a
That's
playoff
right.
game in the
That's
first
right.
round.
We'll find a lot out about the football team before Miami, but really Miami, we will know what we're getting the rest of the year.
I think that's fair. From the audience, let's see what we got. We got 11-1. The floor is 10-2. The ceiling is 12-0. I saw a couple of 9-3s in here, some 10-2s. Folks kind of torn in between the two of them, and that's where I'm at. I mean, again, I think that the challenging games for Louisville will be the road games. I think that there's a good chance that Louisville wins almost, if not all, of their home games. I mean, I think that there's a slip up in there, but I do think overall that it's going to be just really tough for Louisville to take that jump from going 9-3, 10-2 to being 11-1, 12-0. I'll have to wait and see. That's a bit of a far stretch for me.
It's a beautiful mystery, and what makes football so wonderful is we get to take that first step to finding that answer this Saturday. So let's go ahead and let's spin into previewing the Colonels. Roy Kidd ain't there to save you anymore, EKU. The Buckies is all you got going for you.
Beautiful transition. Louisville plays game 1, Eastern Kentucky, a team that Louisville has played several times over the last couple of years. I believe they've shut them out each of the last 2 appearances or 2 matchups. I think maybe scored 3 points. I can't remember exactly. But it's been, pretty much what you expect playing against EKU. Going early on in the season against a FCS school, obviously – you don't expect Louisville to come out and really give you a whole lot, right? In terms of trying to keep their cards close to their vest. Let's just say it that way. But you still are obviously going to get a feel for what this team is and how they play together. And so, guys, you two are the experts here on Eastern Kentucky. Tell the audience what they need to know about how this game is going to kind of go and what EKU brings to the field on Saturday.
I guess I will start off, Keith. They have a new quarterback coming in, guy coming in from the transfer portal, Miles Burkett. Will likely, I don't know if they've named his starter yet. I'm sure they have with where we're at in the week, but he's a guy coming in who put up a whopping 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now at his last stop.
He did get injured last season, and I think the 8th or 9th game of the season was a mid to high 3-star kid coming out of high school out of Wisconsin, committed to the Badgers. Pardon me.
Man,
can't edit that out.
Things like an inside burp, man. You got some heartburn, indigestion right there.
It was too much spotted cow. It heard me talking about Wisconsin. Yeah. So played a year for the Badgers. Didn't really work out there. Found his way to Albany, and now packed his bags from Albany. Now he's over in Richmond, and I believe he is supposed to be the starting quarterback, and I believe he was officially named by the team's Twitter not too long ago. But yeah, man, like you watch the kid, and little bit of an athlete, but just nothing overwhelming. It was
where they're going to try and get the game going to start is obviously going to be in the running game, and they're losing. They're got that 1,300 yards rushing last year, but the guy that is sliding into that number 1 running back slot, Braden Latham. This is gonna be fun. Number 4. Wait till we get crazy. Wait till we get a crazy one. Yeah.
Braden
But I
Latham,
mean, he had close to 700 yards rushing last year while being the number 2 running back, behind a guy that's already having 1,300 rushing yards. So this kid is definitely going to be the one to shut down early on in the game to try and stop the Colonels.
Yeah, really happy Joshua Carter's gone. You go back and you watch some EKU games from last year. Like I watched them play Western, and then you watch them play their playoff game against Villanova, and this kid just pops off the screen immediately. It's like, oh,
nobody was watching that kid.
This kid's way better than anyone else on the field. So him being gone is huge.
Dude, what does your wife say when she comes in and you're just watching that on the couch? Like, yeah, babe, just watching Villanova and Eastern Kentucky.
My wife is still
Now,
studying for a professional architecture studies exam, so she has even less free time than me. So I get to be
She
a
has to
gremlin in
just
peace.
she has to
steering us
just look
back
at you
on
and you're so
track.
unserious, man. Oh my
Steering
god.
us
Yes, please
back
do.
on
Let's do it.
track.
Yeah, grab the wheel,
Marcus
Vince.
Callwise Jr. is a wide receiver that the Colonels have, who is a guy that, in my opinion, guys, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, could be portal watching next year. Freshman season last year, he had 526 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns.
And
That if he improves on that, watch out. This could be a kid in the following years that we could see hopping into the portal. Maybe a guy we might want to grab, or a kid that might go to a bigger school. You never know.
And I don't want to disrespect Matt Morrissey, but to put up those kind of numbers with what the throws were looking like last season, that's pretty impressive. Before
Yeah.
we jump to the defensive side, just they're going to be really frustrating on the offensive side of the ball, and it's actually going to be a big test for our linebackers because it's a ton of read option and a ton of RPO looks for the quarterback. So it's essentially not quite Wake Forest levels of bad when it comes to slow movement in the backfield, but you're going to see a lot of that mesh point, looking to see what the linebackers do and then trying to move and react based on that. So there are certain individuals who we talked about their eyes last year quite a bit. They're going to get maybe not a complete test just because of the athletic advantage they have, but they're going to get tested game one.
yeah.
Moving
And
on. Go ahead, Jay.
well, I was just gonna say TJ Quinn and Stanquan Clark, like in terms of the tackle battle, is an important game to watch because they're gonna run the football as much as they've talked about here. I mean, that's a lot of tackles up for grabs in game one.
Right.
Watch for that in the tackle battle. That'll be interesting to see. Go ahead, Vince.
Now, defense, they lost their leading tackler, Maddox Marcellus. He left for UVA. So they have two guys sliding in. Well, one might have been a starter last year. I'm not too up to date on my EKU defense as Keith is.
Yeah,
But
Keith knows.
Cam
He watched
Jr.
like it's fun.
Yeah, Keith definitely knows. Cam Jr. is an outside linebacker, had 29 solo tackles, 20 assists. And Braden Sullivan, who is an inside linebacker, is likely going to slide over and be the number one leading tackler. He was number 2 on the team. In tackles, yeah, that was correct. Had to check my notes there. Jaheim Ward had number 3. He was number 3 on tackles at the safety position. So their defense, losing their main guy, losing their leader last year, this is an area where we want to see Miller Moss definitely put some numbers up this game.
Yeah, and if your safety is one of your leading tacklers, that means you're getting ball carriers to the third level quite a bit. So, from schematic wise, when it comes to their defense, they're not gonna hold back. They're gonna pull out all the stops. Same thing like what they did against Western Kentucky last year. The defense isn't afraid to disguise looks. You'll see some zone blitzes. You'll see them line up in base defense and then bail out, and they'll send like a safety or a corner off the edge to blitz from their base package. Walt Wells isn't afraid to get his defense in motion and to really try and confuse a quarterback with looks. So again, like we say, TJ Quinn's going to be tested with the defensive side of the ball. Miller Moss going to be tested as well. Can he make the right reads? Can he make the right plays based on the assignment? And I think that's going to be sort of what the big difference is when it comes to do we cover or not.
He's going to have to push the ball downfield for sure this game, because this is one where we are going to outdo them on the outside, quite frankly. I mean, Colin Lacey and Chris Bell, they should not have a DB that matches up with them on roster.
Yeah.
So those guys, when your route, exactly, when your route at the line of scrimmage, run it correctly, deep post, deep over, whatever that might be. And I want to see Miller hit a guy in stride. Don't throw behind. Don't have him slow down. Hit him in stride. Throw a strike. Give everyone confidence going into this season.
Yeah, I think that would you really want to build confidence in this one, and knowing that in week 2 you have a formidable opponent that you are playing on a shortened week, you definitely want to be able to kind of send a message, or at least put some really good tape out on film in week 1. And for this team, I think that they'll come out and obviously really give Isaac and Duke the opportunity to shine. But because all the attention is there, it really does open up a lot of opportunity for Miller Moss. But I also think that we'll see just what this offensive line looks like. I mean, I know that they've been really strong the last couple of years. They lost some pieces, some key pieces, and bring back a lot of experience. But when you're mixing up and trying to find 3-4 new guys out there, we've seen in years past Louisville have a good offensive line, but struggle in games that they shouldn't. So give Miller Moss the time to throw, give him the opportunity, and I think that that'll work wonders, and they'll take care of business here on that side of things. I do want to mention a not so sexy topic, depending on who you talk to, but special teams. We know Louisville was electric last year with blocked kicks. I think were they first in the country, third in the country? I know they were top.
Tied with Notre Dame, first in the country, but Notre Dame had more games, so we beat them on average.
There we go. They got a week 0 game in there. Doesn't count. Throw the stats out. Louisville wins.
They got playoffs.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Not necessarily week 0. That's a good point. But for Louisville, switching things up, right? New kicker, new punter. We saw the punter in the bowl game, and I think everybody liked what they saw. Now, the bar was low because what happened before the game. I could have gone out there and punted, and it wouldn't have mattered because the dude before him was just dumb and just did a bunch of dumb stuff.
Who among us hasn't?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's unfortunate that came in that moment. But Carter Schwartz is expected to be the punter, and it was booming kicks out there in practice. Kicker, though, I mean, are we thinking it's Cooper Ravier? Is that his name? Or are we thinking
I believe
Nick
it's
Keller? Renvier, okay.
This is one they've been keeping close to the vest. Now, if
true competition,
I haven't seen the closed practices, but if I was having to make an evaluation based on the open practices, I think Renvier's got the job, man. So there was a session in the last open practice I was able to attend. The whole team gets around and crowds the kicker, makes it super claustrophobic.
This is an old Coach Petrino drill. This is a Coach P drill. I saw this on Twitter.
I think it was like a 45-yard kick, and he just strikes it through the uprights, smokes the goal line tower that's dead nuts straight behind the goal post, probably still 20-some-odd foot in the air. Like, it had more than enough leg. You saw the video on Twitter of him piping one in from 71, maybe a little extra step of run up, but he's got a leg, and he's got confidence, and he's looked fantastic.
Hell yeah, man.
This is the most optimistic I've been about a kicker in a while.
What's the length of his undershirt? Let's talk about that. I think that matters.
The
important question is how long is his damn undershirt? And
I'll do you one better.
Does he only French tuck it?
He doesn't even have so we know our last kicker, he had like the nice respectable mid-thigh undershirt. At least when it comes to practice, Cooper's rocking a crop top jersey.
Oh,
like a poor
body like that, man.
We found the anti.
Well, I mean, I used to rock a crop top as well, and I mean, I clearly never had the body like that, Jacob.
You still rock a crop top, man.
It's more aerodynamic.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But special teams will be interesting, and then on the return side, I mean, I think Colin Lacey potentially is your punt returner, but Bobby Golden was brought to be here. I mean, what are you thinking there? What did you see in practice?
I mean, there was probably 7-8 guys they had back there still, and that was open practices, so I'm sure that was deliberate. But Collins was back there, Antonio Harris was back there, Bobby Golden was back there, Colin Lacey was back there,
Stanquan Clark was back there, Rajay Burns was back there.
Pretty sure they brought Pete Niagara back there.
Rajay Burns remains the only linebacker to ever return punts in college football.
Somebody sent me a tweet recently. I thought it was you, Vince, that a linebacker returned a punt somewhere else for a kickoff or something. I don't remember. Maybe I was streaming that. That's the kind of dreams I have. Remember. Yeah, but special teams will be interesting to see here because it's fresh, it's new. I'd love to see an opening kickoff to the house. Like, give me Bobby Golden or whoever it is return a kickoff. Antonio Harris. That would be just electric. I love a good kickoff return. But of course, we saw the role they play last year for Louisville. Want to see them get involved in this game. But let's move into it. Last bit of the show here. And of course, look, from the Louisville side, we could talk about players to watch all day long. You guys have mentioned the matchups. I mean, for Louisville, you want to get the backups in the third quarter. Like, that's what you're shooting for here. I want to see Deuce Adams. I think that is, and Mason Mims. And not also,
I
Jeff.
don't want to just see Deuce Adams hand the ball off.
Yeah, thank you.
I want
Jeff,
to see him throw the football.
Greg, Rocco, somebody deliver this message, please.
Rocco.
If they put anybody, man, just it doesn't. It could be the mailman.
Hey,
Just-
Jeff. Jacob Lane said.
Jake,
you said
from
throw
the
the ball.
But can we please throw the ball with the quarterback and that comes in off the bench, please?
You don't
And
want to
I-
be disrespectful, Jacob.
I look, man. If you're really cut from the Bobby Petrino tree, you'll run the score up. I mean, come on, man. Make them stop you. I'm sorry, but just run the score up at EKU. What are they going to do? Not play you? Okay. Oh, sorry. I mean,
don't want us running the score up. Stop us.
bingo. That's exactly right. But I do want to see, the backups. I want to see guys get in the offensive line. I want to see guys. Of course, I want to see at the running
I want to
back
see
spot.
Trent Carter fucking rock a kid,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. You want a Dylan Messman touchdown. You want, give me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I just want to see
right.
execution. I want them
Yeah.
to go out and execute to perfection. Yes, you are going against another team, but I want you to be on point in everything.
Yeah,
I
want
don't
to
want
see
a
an
quarterback throwing
execution.
off his back. I don't want to see our quarterback, and we get taken down off Twitter. But I don't want to see the quarterback
fighting.
throwing off his back foot. I don't want to see, Isaac struggling to find a running hole. I don't want to see the defensive line not getting a push. I don't
Or
wanna see
the punter
lines.
dropping the ball twice like he did in 2020 against Western Kentucky. Like that's the type of stuff, man, in week one. Like, don't eat popcorn before the game. Like, don't do that. Like, just get out there, don't make mistakes. Predictions. Let's jump into this. We asked at the top of the show. I haven't really been watching a ton, so I haven't seen if anything came in. I did get a text message that I'm going to read here in a second. But we asked the show to help us with options of punishment for whoever is the worst prognosticator against the spread this season for Louisville football. Vince, I think you'll appreciate this. This is a buddy of mine that gets the show at its core, okay? His text, he said, 24 hours at the 5-star. Each bologna sandwich gets you an hour off. Punishment for yeah.
I feel like that's something
I
we
do
have to
Waffle
get okayed
House.
by 5
I'd-
star.
I just lived there.
I don't think they're open 24 hours.
Then I guess you got to eat at least 8.
Yeah, right, man. Or 12.
I would
whatever it
definitely
is.
do the Waffle House one. I've always wanted to do that. I might lose on purpose for that one.
Just so you could go in there and get you waffles.
Only because I think I would crush that within
Yeah,
the
I
first
could eat
couple
24.
hours.
Yeah, I think if
The
you give me like 4 or
waffles will
5, I
fill
could
you
put
up
it
quick, man.
Cat,
but-
bacon, and coffee.
Yeah, throw us some suggestions here. I mean, if you want to see, I'm not great on the spot with this stuff, but if we recycle some of the ideas from last year, the worst has to wear a shirt that says they don't know
We could
football.
do shaved head. We could do shaved heads now at this point, boys.
Yeah, we could,
I ain't
but I
doing
won't.
that on the
I
line.
can't. Yeah, sorry, man. I'll quit
One,
the show
you
before I
doing
shave my
that?
head, dude.
No,
Sorry, man.
my wife would murder me. I kid you
Mine-
not. That's like the one rule we have. It's
My
like I
mirror
can't
would
shave my
murder
head
me.
until this widow's peak
Starts
becomes a
going back
receding
more.
hairline.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. Not shaving heads. I mean, but I might get a tattoo. I mean, I don't know. It depends on what it is. I mean, I've been known to do that. So throw us your selections. Think through it. What would be not so evil, but evil, and true punishment. So let's dive into this. The spread for week 1, according to FanDuel. I didn't see anything on any other apps, but I just did a quick Google search. But the spread from FanDuel as of this week, 38.5 Louisville, the favorites in this one. We're going to predict against the spread as we have each year, and I'm going to go Louisville covers week 1, guys. I'm not going to subscribe to the school of thought that Keith Arutoff subscribed to. I saw the results that it produced, and while I do know that week 1 presents challenges and flub ups, and it's rusty and the nerves are high because they've listened to Delta Dawn and actually had people in the stands. But I think that Louisville comes out knowing what's on the line over the next couple of weeks, knowing what kind of season this is to be, and Louisville absolutely dominates. I think Louisville wins this game 50, I'll say 52-3. It would be my final score for this one, somewhere in that range. I know we're not doing final score, but Louisville covers, easy.
Vince,
I'm
I'm gonna
going
let you
the
go.
same cover. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going cover. I'm going to go. What'd you say? 52, Jacob? I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
52.
53-4.
Okay.
Okay.
Love it.
That's
I
fine.
did.
No, I
real
think we're
quick.
gonna
Last
cover.
thing. The last thing here, I did get a text from our researcher, and that is researcher Presley. He said the last 3 games against EKU, 30-3 in 2021, 42-0 in 2029, and 44-7 in 2013. So I wasn't too far off. The last two games have been a combined 3 points scored by EKU. So, Keith, what do you got?
If nothing else, I am a man of principles and a man of science. And last year, my method, it was beaten down. It was beaten down pretty badly. So I decided to, figure out why things went wrong. And there was something that I didn't quite account for. And that's the ever-growing gap between the haves and the have-nots. Not just of FBS football, but then you take that step and you make it even larger when it comes to FCS football. So I'm riding with you guys. I think Louisville covers, but I think it is complete and utter annihilation. I'm talking 66-0 territory. To where they got to put a little TVMA warning in the top left corner when they come back from commercial breaks, because it is not appropriate for all viewing ages. The difference in athletes that are available, we're bigger, faster, stronger, better. Go out there and prove it. If it's not a complete domination, then we're going to have a discussion about what's upcoming for the season.
Yeah, the people that have been afraid of James Madison are going to get a little bit louder, and I don't know if I can deal with that, guys. I really don't know if I can deal with listening to people worry about James Madison. It's been the off season and they've been worried about it. Imagine going into week 2 and you didn't play well week 1. Thankfully, I don't think any one of us here believe that won't be the case. I think that the expectation is, as we mentioned, domination, annihilation, absolutely owning your opponent at home week 1, set the tone for an 8-game season in a year where you believe you are a college football playoff team. Prove it. Week 1, no more practice, no more on paper. It's real life football. Go out there and dominate the way that you should, and you'll have a absolutely amped up crowd. I don't know where we'll end up attendance-wise, but the day is, it's picture perfect at this point based off of what I've seen weather-wise. You couldn't ask for better weather comparative to what you had last year when you almost died of heat exhaustion the first 4 weeks of the season. Every week you win.
Awful.
It was terrible, but we got through it, and this year we will have incredible football out there to watch, and we could not be more excited. We will be out there on Saturday getting ready. Vince will have already eaten his fried bologna sandwich.
Yes.
And we will be tailgating, trying to pray to the internet gods that we can find just a few moments of receptivity, of connection to share our football thoughts on some form of platform. So stay tuned to that.
One more fun thing before Jacob sounds us off. So I like to do something before the football season starts every year. Well, I guess right before it starts, when teams start putting out their pictures, full team pictures and everything. And I like seeing where the people I've either been around at Louisville or people that have made stops at Louisville, where they've landed. And I sent you guys a picture earlier, and it is the Arkansas football team picture. There are 6 people from the University of Louisville. Well, I say from the University of Louisville have made stops at the University of Louisville. So, do you guys know any of those 6 just off the top of your head?
Bobby Petrino.
Coach Petrino is the easy one, but I also recognize Colby Smith was one of the others, if I'm not mistaken. Then Coach Souders, who was the strength coach for Coach Satterfield in his final season at Louisville. And then, man, so you're telling me I got to find a couple more.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could, man. I don't think I could. I think it's a very
if you are looking
picture.
At the Arkansas team picture, for the fans out there, they want to go look at this. Look at the Arkansas team picture. We're looking from left, and you're going to go straight up. You're going to have Bobby Petrino, Ronnie Fouch, Colby Smith. You're going to have Ben Souders, Armin Satchel behind Ben Souders. He was one of the assistant strength coaches with Bobby Petrino. And then we have Tommy, who is an intern with the mustache, the curled up mustache, wore the tight shirt tucked in. Do you remember this guy, Jacob? Do you remember?
I do. Yes, I do remember that guy. Yes,
He is now a full-time staffer at Arkansas. That's one of the fun things I like to do. Yeah, he's a strength coach.
Shocker.
All right, I am gonna I'm gonna no context tweet this right now from the Pink Seats podcast account, so folks can see it right now. I didn't even really. That was a terrible caption. God, no context from the show. I'm a dad, man. I can't think of. I say the least cool thing all the time. It's just a thing about me. I can't help it.
It's just I enjoy seeing the guys that hang around Coach P still. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I wish Coach P and all them the best, obviously, but it's just crazy sometimes.
Yeah, well, and then you got some Satterfield and Petrino days combining worldwide. I mean, it's just college football's weird, man. These guys jump
Yeah,
around
it's a weird
staffs to
phase.
staff. It is so weird. But enough about that. We're gonna go ahead and send you off into the rest of your evenings. Go ahead and let those beautiful faces hit the pillow. Get some Z's as you prepare to get one day closer to Louisville football. Only 3 more days about having to talk to your coworkers about what Louisville football could be, maybe, should be. Saturday, we start to get towards what they will be. We will see you out there. Stay tuned. Turn notifications on from the Pink Seats podcast at Pink Seats Pod on Twitter, at the State of Lou on YouTube. You can catch us there as well as on Instagram. We'll be somewhere, depending on the internet. A little asterisk there for that, so that we can come back and say it was the internet's fault.
Everybody, just turn your Wi-Fi off when you're at the stadium. Just turn it off.
Yeah,
2 hours
turn it off so
before
that we
kickoff, turn
can
your
do
Wi-Fi
our
off.
shows. And also, like, if you're listening to this show and you're a tech person and you have a good solution for a mobile Wi-Fi unit that doesn't cost an arm and a leg or Vince Lococo's life, please let us know. I have bartered your life for a Wi-Fi unit, and it's not worked
That's
so
fair.
far.
I would do this.
Yeah, it's a good trade, I would say. But if you know where to acquire one of those, if you have one of those and you'd like to be forever one of our favorite listeners, please let us know. We're trying to do more content day of at the stadium. From the Pink Seats podcast, Jacob Lane, producer Keith, Vince Lococo. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, go Cards. Go Cards!